Today I came across a post on Facebook that made me think deeply about life. The post said, one of the reasons why there is so much evil in the world is because life offers nothing and people have to do evil things to be fulfilled. I was like, life offers nothing and people have to do evil things to be fulfilled. The real problem is that people are not fulfilled. People are not satisfied. So they must do something so that they will feel fulfilled and satisfied. Unfortunately, most of the things that life requires them to do to become fulfilled and satisfied are things that are causing suffering for other people. You see the problem? The problem is that we are not naturally fulfilled. To become fulfilled, there are things that must be done. But these things cause suffering for others. It's not like our default state is happiness, right? As a human, you're just happy. Nothing has to happen for you to be happy. Nothing has to happen for you to be fulfilled. You are just naturally happy. It's not like that. And that should make you question everything about life. Why are you not naturally happy? Because it would be beautiful if we did things because these things are taking us somewhere as a collective, not because we're doing these things to become happy. The reason why a lot of government officials are corrupt, those who are not corrupt because they're not given a good chance to be corrupt. The real reason is, is because people are not fulfilled. If people were fulfilled, they wouldn't even see the need to be corrupt because people are not evil for the sake of being evil. You have to understand that. You see, a lion isn't going to chase a rabbit for the sake of chasing the rabbit. The reason why the lion is chasing the rabbit is because it's hungry. It's chasing the rabbit because it's hungry. And if it catches the rabbit, that causes suffering, right? The rabbit is going to suffer. If the rabbit had a family, the family is going to suffer. People are not evil for the sake of being evil. So before you judge anyone in the world, think about what I just said. People are not evil for the sake of being evil. They're not just like evil, like I'm just gonna be this evil. It has to do with what's missing. So if they feel like they must do what they gotta do to have what they want, they will do it. When people are fulfilled and happy, they wanna do things that are gonna help society. There's a reason why the people who have hurt us the most are people who have been hurt. Let's say you're dating a girl who grew up in a family where she was not loved, she was not accepted. So what she really needs is love, validation, and acceptance, right? And you do give her that, but because it's what she never got from the beginning, it's not enough. That kind of woman can end up cheating on you because what she really wants is validation and acceptance. She never got that. So even if you're giving her, it's not enough, right? You have to give her more than what a person who came up, who was brought up in a family where they were shown love, they were accepted, they were understood, they were validated. You know what I'm saying? You have to give them more than what that girl would want. A girl that grew up in a family where she was given love. So she will be toxic even if you're giving her enough. If she came from a relationship where she was being cheated on, mistreated, abused, you're gonna have to deal with a lot. So that's the thing. We don't treat each other well as humans because of what's actually missing. If I'm not happy, I can't make another person happy. Think of a father who doesn't have a job but has a family. Chances are he might sometimes take things that belong to the family, things that are going to help his kids, and use them for his fulfillment. The problem is people want to feel fulfilled. Once a person is fulfilled, they are thinking about how they can make the world a better place. This is what they're thinking. They're thinking about how they can treat others better, how they can be a better person. But they have to be fulfilled first. And this world is making it difficult for people to feel fulfilled, to feel satisfied. This world is making it difficult for people to have what they want without doing things that are not good. Are you satisfied? Are you happy? No, one of the biggest problems with humanity today is that we don't want to acknowledge the truth about ourselves. People will be like, yeah, if you're not happy, if you're not satisfied, it's your fault. You have to find a hobby. And people know what will make them satisfied now. The problem is that the world is not giving them what will make them feel satisfied now. Yes, after some time, they would want something else. It's human nature. We here. What are we supposed to be doing? Think about it. It's not like once I get what I want, I'm just going to die. No, I'll still be here. So that means that I'll get used to what I wanted and I will find myself wanting more. It's human nature. It's not my fault. If it was possible for me to make myself feel satisfied with everything that I have and happy, I'll choose that without having to do anything. The reason why people do drugs, for an example, is because they wanna be happy. They wanna feel satisfied. They wanna feel fulfilled. You know, they wanna be fulfilled with what they have without having to do anything. They're like, okay, I don't wanna go and work. I don't wanna have millions. I don't want to be successful. I mean, maybe they do want to be successful, but they're like, yo, it's gonna be super difficult. I have to do a lot of things that I don't even want to do. So let me just do this, just to feel whole for a moment. You see the problem? People want to be fulfilled, but it's very difficult in this realm. It's very difficult to get what you want. If you grew up in a country like South Africa, you understand how difficult it is to like get a job. I'm not even talking about a decent job here. I'm talking about a job. To make 500 a month, that is super difficult. You can wake up in the morning every day looking for a decent job. In the morning, like every day when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm looking for a decent job. You find that it's very difficult for you to get a decent job. Sometimes you're gonna meet with people who are trying to kidnap you. You know, that happens a lot in South Africa. You know, you find a post online about a job. You know, you apply and they invite you, and then they try to kidnap you. It happens. You had to borrow money to attend the interview. The next thing that be trying to kidnap you. It has happened. There are people who've been kidnapped and killed because of that. It's crazy that that is actually possible in this realm. It doesn't offer us what we want, you know. It doesn't give us access to what we want. So people end up uh, resorting to desperate measures to at least feel good, because people don't want to be miserable 24/7. So it gets to a point where they're like, no one really cares in this place anyway, let me just do what I can to have what I want, because I also want to be happy at the end of the day. That's one of the biggest problems. We're not happy and we want to be happy. And why shouldn't we want to be happy? Why should we want to be miserable? No one wants to be miserable. The world does not give us what we want, and we must ask ourselves why. You could be wanting things that are not even like too much. You could be asking something that's not too much to ask from life. Maybe you're a lonely man, you just want a relationship, you just want a woman who's gonna love you, a woman that you're gonna go out on dates with, you know what I'm saying? A woman that's you're gonna laugh with every day, a woman that's gonna love you truly, and yeah, you have a good. That's not too much to ask, because there's a lot of women in the world, but the world still doesn't give you that, and you feel like a loser. So you in your room all day, and you becoming more and more toxic because of the pain that you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not having what you want. Sometimes we blame people for becoming crazy without realizing what caused them to become crazy. So, okay, you are lonely, you have no one, it seems like no one cares about you. So, you feeling totally alone, you feeling totally empty, and you exist and you don't know what to do. Right? No one is helping you, no one seems to care about you, people are mean towards you. You know what I'm saying? The world is not offering you what you want, and you're not even the one who chose to want what you want. Do you see the problem? We blame people for not being happy without realizing what the real problem is. If the world is not offering you what you, everyone knows what they want, bro. And people will do almost anything to have what they want. If you see a person who's doing nothing to have what they want, they probably did a lot of things to get what they want, but they failed and they ended up believing that they can't get what they want. So like, hey, it's how it is. I can't do this. I can't get what I want. I can't succeed when it comes to this. So I'll just have to be okay with not having what I want. And what's crazy is that when we're young, we're promised the world. The world is yours, right? Nice as a song called "The World Is Yours." How many people achieve their dreams? Remember the dreams that you had when you were young? How many of us actually got to achieve our dreams? Some people wanted to be doctors, but they're working as security guards. They genuinely wanted to be doctors, but they're working as security guards. Some of them actually work as security guards, in hospitals. So they're seeing doctors, they're seeing people that they wanted to become passing them every day, and they're working as their security guards. People wanted to be pilots. I remember I told you about this video. It's painful and funny at the same time. So they show this little kid saying, like they asked this kid, "Yo, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And the kid says, I want to be a pilot." And then they wrote uh, 25 years later, and then they show this guy selling ice cream, screaming, "Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream." It's like the same kid now. 25 years later, the kid is selling ice cream in the street, and he's desperate. You know what I'm saying? This world is cruel, man. The things that we have to deal with as conscious beings are not okay, There are things that are obvious to everyone, Like there's things that you look at these things, you're like, okay, this is bad, right? Wars are bad, famine is bad, poverty is bad, um, abuse is bad, matter is, you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of things that you can tell, oh, this is bad. But there are a lot of things that we're going through as conscious beings that we don't even talk about, Not being able to achieve your dreams. You deserve to achieve your dreams because what the heck are you here for? Think about it. Are you here to be miserable, to wake up in the morning, do things that you don't want just to survive? That is misery. People are not okay. You meet people in the street and you think they're okay, they're doing well. They're not. They're crying inside. And, one of the reasons why we don't even see that is because people realize that no one cares. And it's true. Like, no one actually cares. If you're going to talk about your problems to people that you think care, chances are they're going to talk about your problems with other people. They'll be talking about you. You're like, oh, this is my friend. I can tell them my problems. I can tell them what I'm dealing with. They can't wait to talk to other people about your problems because everyone has problems. So they sometimes people want to listen to your problems so that they'll feel better about their lives, right? So their lives are so bad, and they're like, damn, am I the only one who's going through hell here? Am I the only one who's going through hell? And then you tell them your problems, they're like, oh, I'm not the only one who's going through hell. And now they want to talk about your problems because they're like, hey, this person also has problems. So now they talk about your problems, not about their problems, right? Now they feel better about their own lives. And it's human nature. I remember Bill Blair made a joke about this. Funny joke, but the reason why that joke is funny is because it's true, right? He's talking about some twins that, their parents were very rich. So, yeah, they had everything that a person could want without actually working. But yeah, when he was watching that documentary, he discovered that one of the kids is suffering from a terminal illness. So he said that made him happy because that made him feel better about his life. Because he's looking at his life and be like, I'm a loser. I have nothing. And these kids, they're enjoying their lives. They have everything they want. What made the joke funny is that is true. That is how people feel. They want to feel like they're not the only ones who are going through hell, right? So people have learned that, yo, man, people will talk about your problems. Even if you don't want them to talk about your problems, you could trust a person with your heart. Like, with all your heart, you're like, I trust this person. I can tell them anything. And then they talk about your problems with other people. I see this a lot with women, right? A woman will be like, oh, this person is my best friend. I can tell my best friend anything. She has a husband. She has a boyfriend. She's going to tell her boyfriend about your problems easily. That happens. Sometimes I'll be like, so girls don't know that. She is going to talk about your problems with her boyfriend. She's literally going to, like, she can't wait to talk about your problems with her boyfriend. She can't wait. As soon as you tell her, she's going to tell her boyfriend about your problems. Your boyfriend is going to tell his friends about your problems. His friends are going to tell. So people know how it works. Like, yo, I ain't even, I can't even talk to nobody. But people are in pain. They're not okay. They're just hiding it. That is why sometimes when we hear that a person has ended their life, you're like, oh, but this person was happy. I was with this person yesterday. We were laughing. We were having fun. What happened? No, they were hiding a lot because they know that we suck, right? Like, what can I do, man? I have to keep everything to myself because I don't know who I can actually trust. Some people don't have anyone they can trust. I remember when I was dealing with real depression. I was lucky enough because I had my mom. My mom is like I was lucky because I know not everyone have that, right? My mom has always protected me, So I wouldn't tell her. I wouldn't be vulnerable with her and tell her what I'm dealing with. And she goes and she talks to her friends about it. Like she'll be very secretive, and we'll just have a conversation. She'll know how I'm feeling and she'll check up on me. She's not gonna turn her back on me and walk around. It's not like if you talk to your girlfriend, right? Someone that you think loves you, and then you guys break up. She's gonna talk about you. Women, when they are heartbroken and when they don't love you anymore, they're gonna be talking about you. So at least I had my mom, right? But not everyone has that. Sometimes you can find that you don't have a good relationship with your mom, or your mom is not available. Your mom is not emotionally available. As soon as you open up, your mom is, she doesn't even want to talk to you anymore, right? There are people who are like that. You open up, they don't want to talk to you anymore. You can't actually open up to these people. My dad was kind of like that, but he was a good father. Like, there were a lot of things that he did right, but yeah, I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't open up. So I learned that at an early age. I was like, okay, I can't talk to my dad. I can't truly express myself. I can't tell my dad how I'm really feeling, but I can tell my mom how I'm really feeling. So I'm gonna tell her how I'm really feeling, right? So at least that helped. But can you imagine if you have no one? It was the only person that I could actually have a real conversation with was my mom. Other people, I knew that if I talk to them, they will talk to other people about my problems, right? Which is something that I didn't want. So that is why people are keeping things to themselves, but they're not okay, man. It sucks, man, to want something and never get it. Trauma isn't only caused by something that happens to you, it can also be caused by something that didn't happen. The hugs that you didn't get when you were young, that can cause trauma. The toys that your parents didn't afford, that can cause trauma. The I love you text that you didn't get, they can cause trauma. Like, we are emotional creatures, and it's not even our fault. We need things, and that's not our fault. It will be good if we will be able to experience happiness by default without needing anything. Because this realm use that to our advantage, that we actually need things. Like, okay, look, you need a girlfriend. All right, you gotta work at 9 to 5 because no woman is gonna love you if you have no money, because you can't afford clothes. You look dirty in the street. You look like a homeless man. You be living with your parents. Who's gonna love you? So you gotta work a job that you probably don't want, so that you can get a girlfriend, right? So now we're slaves. We are actually living in a matrix where we're being controlled by people who have money. Like, yeah, do this. If you don't do it, then you'll be broke. And if you're broke, you're not gonna get what you really want. So what we really want is not money, it's what we can buy with money. You get what I'm saying? So you're like, yeah, I want to have a nice home, but that requires money. Yeah, I wanna sometimes go out. That requires, like, you know what I'm saying. It's a problem when you think about it. And I think one of the reasons why, even when we get the things that we want, we do not feel satisfied. I think the reason is because we have to do a lot to get what we want. You see, if you have to do a lot to get what you want, you will ask yourself if it's actually worth it. Like, you have to do things that seem impossible to actually get what you want. There'll be You reach a point where you ask yourself, is this even worth it? You know, why am I chasing this again? Why do I wanna have a lot of money again? Because it's you struggled a lot to get money, while others are not even trying. They just have it. Think about it. If to eat food a day, you had to walk for maybe 10 kilometers, you'll reach a point where you just be tired, man. Like, man, this can't be worth it. You know, food must be like, must not be hard for you to get. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do too much to get food. Relationships, you don't have to do too much to get relationships. But men nowadays have to work a lot to be loved, right? To be considered someone in society. So it becomes difficult for them. And I know that women also have their own problems, but I just wanted to uh, use men as an example this time. Um, this life offers nothing, man. So people have to do a lot to have what they want. But it does promise you everything. It does promise you the world. Your teachers ain't gonna tell you that, hey man, look, it's gonna get harder when you get older, you know. Some of them might tell you that so that you will perform at school, but they don't tell you that, hey man, you can perform very well at school, get straight A's, kill it every time, and end up not getting a job, end up jobless for real, and end up not having money, and end up in a situation that's worse than the situation that you are in now. That's why some people are like, hey, things were good when we were children, because when your biggest problem was that you wanted a sweet, and maybe your neighbors will give you a sweet, right? If your neighbor finds you crying in the street and you said, I want a sweet, your neighbor will give you a sweet. But now we don't even cry anymore. Like, our problems are so big that we're just shocked. We're too shocked to even cry. But when we were kids, we cry about everything. Why? Because we thought we deserve the things, and we do. And we were right to feel that we deserve the things that we want. Hey, I want candy, bro. That is why kids, when they see another kid into candy, they'll cry and say they want the candy. We feel entitled because we are. We should feel entitled. Because what is good about living in a world that doesn't give you what you want? That makes it hard. Because sometimes, even if you work very hard to get what you want, you might still not get it. So you work super hard to have what you want, but you still don't get it. It gets to a point where you're just a slave. You're working just to survive, but you're not getting what you want. How many people are living the lives that they want? Remember when Kanye West on the song Run This Town said, "This is the life that everybody asks for." It's like, yeah, he's kind of right. Like, how many of us in this world are living the lives that we asked for? We're not just copying, basically. Like we're actually living the lives that we actually asked for, the lives that we wanted to live. How many of us? The truth is, most people are just copying. But what can I do? I'm here. What can I do? I just have to find ways to cope. And that is why we do toxic things to cope. Because you want to cope. You don't want to get to a point where you're just like too fed up that you're just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been through a lot that you're actually crazy now. Like your brain can't handle the hardships that you had to deal with in this realm. It has happened. Find that you've been through so much to feel okay. Like you don't even know what okay feels like. I know people like that who don't even feel okay anymore. Some people are so tired that they forgot what it's like to be okay. Like they literally forgot what it's like to be okay. Because they they only felt okay when they were young. Sometimes, man, you must try to put yourself in other people's shoes. We don't do that as people. We don't try to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Yo, I need to wear something warm. It's cold. Sometimes we gotta learn to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Like we don't. Like we are. I do understand that it's impossible to experience life from other people's perspectives, right? But I don't know, man. We don't have enough compassion. Like it's really every man for himself, yeah. Because even the people who help, they are kind of helping themselves. If someone is a politician and they're supposed to be helping people, really what they're interested in uh, is having a good reputation, right? I've worked for government. I know that government officials, that's what they're like really interested in. Sometimes they're not helping in the way that they can be helping, right? They are more concerned with how they look in other people's eyes. They are more concerned about the public image than helping people. We need to try to put ourselves in other people's shoes. If you're in a relationship, you need to ask yourself, what's my partner feeling? Can you imagine if your partner asks themselves, what are you feeling? What do you need? And they truly care about your needs without judging you. Like, it's what you need, you know? We're not like that. We're so mean to one another, man, that it really took away meaning out of existence. That is why it's very difficult for people to find meaning. We can blame people for not finding meaning, for complaining about meaning, for saying this is meaningless, but how is life treating them? Because you don't find meaning in suffering 24/7. It gets to a point where you're just tired. You're like, damn, man, this is hell. You don't find meaning in hell. You get what I'm saying? You find meaning in meaningful experiences. Meaningful experiences build characters. Meaningful experiences actually make you strong. Believe it or not, it's not these horrible experiences that are actually making you strong. These experiences are making you numb so you seem strong. but they're not really making you strong because they're destroying something inside, something that is important. So you need meaningful experiences to become stronger. You see, when you're surrounded by people who care about you, that makes you strong. Even when you have a problem, you are you deal with it better than if you have no one. I remember when I was young, I broke my leg. I had to sleep in a hospital for a week. It took me 3 months to be able to walk. I never felt. I don't remember ever feeling depressed. Ever. I never felt depressed. You want to know why? It's because of what I believed I had. So I'm having parents who care about me. I have friends who care about me, teachers who care about me. Like that's what I believe. I'm like, okay, they all care. You know what I'm saying? Uh, they're asking my parents how I'm doing and all of that. It's what I believe. So even when I was going through that, it didn't make me feel depressed. But can you imagine as an adult if you go through something like that, you feel totally alone. You'll be thinking about all the traumas that you've had to go through in this realm. You're like, damn, man. Like when you are alone, that's when you be thinking about all the horrible things that you've had to go through. And at the time, no one seemed to care about you. No one is checking up on you. No one is calling you, hey, how are you doing, man? And even if they do, it's just like a minute, 2 minute conversation. No one is making an effort to come and see you. So now you're thinking about how empty your whole life is. You know what I'm saying? So you become depressed. You feel weak because you have no one. But if you feel like you have people who genuinely care about you, it's not easy to feel weak. So that's the problem. Suffering doesn't build character, man. Suffering destroys character. People end up being dysfunctional because of how life has been treating them. Gets to a point where you just don't even know how to act. You don't know. It gets to a point where you don't even greet people. You don't even check up on people. You just, like some of the people that you trusted have treated you so horribly that you don't even want to trust anyone. Maybe you find yourself surrounded by people who don't actually care about you. You find that every person that you know has hurt you in some way. Maybe they've gossiped about you. Maybe they've laughed at you. Maybe they've bullied you. So now you can't laugh truly. So it makes you, like there's something that's broken within. We are experiencing a lot of things that making us weak in this realm. It's not beautiful to not have what you want. When I was growing up, I used to tell myself that I might not have the things that I want, but one day I'll have the things that I want, and one day it'll make sense. But then you become an adult and you're like, it still doesn't make any sense. In fact, it's way worse than it was. Because we promise ourselves when we're young that things are going to go well. We believe in the other dog story. We believe that when bad things happen, good things are going to happen. So we're like, yeah, if I suffer when I'm young, then when I get older, things are going to go well. But then you get older and you're like, oh, things are actually worse. Now you got to deal with the emptiness. You find that nothing is making you happy anymore. You're so used to what you have because you've always had what you have now. So it's now nothing to you because it's all that you had. So it doesn't make you happy anymore. Like you even forget that you have it because you've had it all your life. Think of someone who's had money all their lives. It gets to a point where it doesn't make them happy because they've had it all their lives. That's the problem. That's why uh, I say it will be better if we felt happy by default. Because once you have something for a very long time, it doesn't really make you happy anymore. It can make your life easier, Yes, if you have a place to sleep, that makes your life easier, but it doesn't mean that it's making you happy. You'll be in your room, thinking about all the horrible things that you've been through. You know what I'm saying? You find that you are as miserable as someone who's in the street because life is not offering us happiness like that. It's like, oh, and it, it's something that I feel we deserve by default. You know, you deserve happiness by default. It's something that you truly deserve. Because why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why should you be miserable? So yeah, we find ourselves chasing money, thinking that it will make us happy. But sometimes we have to work too hard for it that it doesn't even make us feel happy. And even when it does get to a point where we realize what we truly need. We need the world to be a better place, right? That's what we've always needed. We needed it to be easy for to have what we want. We have these twisted dreams because of what life has denied us. You want to be super powerful, super rich because of what life has denied you. It's like if you grew up in a community where you were not being treated well, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get my revenge, and you're thinking, yo, my revenge is gonna be me becoming a millionaire, right? It's because of the hardships that you've had to experience. But if you grew up in a community where everyone was treating everyone well and it was all love, you truly cared about one another, and you've truly felt that other people truly cared about you, those ain't the kind of dreams you'll be having. You'll be like, you know what? I want to be able to be a productive member of society. I want to be able to help, because you're already having all that you want. You are satisfied, you're fulfilled. So you're coming up with ideas that are going to make the world a better place, that are going to make this human experience a better place, better. But the human experience is very horrible right now. And we're not even honest enough about that. This is not this is not the world that we had in mind. This is not the world that, if they ask you to envision a world that you want, this is not what you would envision. Yes, the music is nice. I love the music. Yes, we when it comes to art, we know what we're doing. When it comes to entertainment, we know what we're doing. But when it comes to treating each other, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to creating life that would be meaningful for everyone who's experiencing it, we are horrible. That is why we don't mind keeping animals in captivity. We don't even care about their happiness. We just give them food and be like, as long as I'm making money, bro, I don't care about your happiness. I don't care if you're living behind a glass. I don't care if you're a snake and you like to move around. You're gonna live inside that glass, and I will give you a right every day. You're like, this can't be right. We don't care about the pigs, the chickens that we'll be eating. Even if they tell themselves that we care. If we were fulfilled, the next step will be freeing others that are suffering. So it will be much easier for us to look at animals and be like, yo. I used to ask myself why I've never met a person who's a vegan where I live, right? Like, I'm the only person who's vegan. Like, what's going on? Some people would tell me, oh, there's this Rasta guy who's a vegan. Be like, okay, that's a bit different, but I get you. I've never met a person who's like, I'm a vegan because I care about how animals are being treated. I've never met a person like that in real life. Why? Because of where we grew up, the challenges that we had to go through. You see, if we're not fulfilled because of poverty, you're not even going to be thinking about, hey, I need to care about what that bed is going through. You're on survival mode. Life puts you on survival mode. But if you have a decent amount of money, you live in a nice house, you have that extra cash to buy what you want. Now you'll be thinking about the suffering of others. So the problem is that in this world, we are suffering a lot that we can't even think about the suffering of others. Like we are our own priority now. That's why they say you gotta save yourself first before you save others. Like you can't help others until you help yourself. But if life is offering you nothing, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to help others. You'll never find President Trump robbing a person in the street. He's got a lot of money. If he's going to be corrupt, we're talking about next level of corruption. We're talking about stealing billions. So if life is not offering people what they want, you find them doing crazy things in the street. And yes, we have to protect ourselves. If someone is going to come and I'm holding my cell phone and they snatch my cell phone and run away with it, if I catch them at the time because I'm angry, I'm not going to try to understand where they're coming from, right? But really, if I'm going to be truly honest with myself, that person is doing that because they're suffering. It's not because they're happy. They're like, yo, man, I just want to make people miserable. Like if they could get what they want without causing suffering, then they would choose that option. But what happens if it feels like the only way for you to get what you want is to cause suffering? What happens? So sometimes life puts people in that kind of situation where they can't just have what they want. So they have to cause suffering to get what they want. But what happens? What do they do in that kind of a situation? We can't pretend as if some people are not in those kind of situations, you know? I think we gotta stop pretending as if things are okay. People are suffering, man. They just don't want to tell you about it. There are people who are truly lonely. You can't even say you're lonely. They're lonely for real. I've dealt with loneliness a few years back, and I know what it feels like. It's just that sometimes you get used to being by yourself, and you get used to your own company, and you kind of like find enough coping resources that you no longer deal with loneliness. I no longer deal with loneliness, even when I'm alone. And I think that's a good thing when you're not relying on a lot of things to feel like I haven't felt lonely in a long time. And it's not because I have people. I don't really have people. It's just, and most of the time I'm alone. Most of the time I avoid being with people. So really, it's just me getting used to being by myself and yeah, getting used to my life. And I also think that another thing that's helping me is philosophy, is trying to understand reality and being able to communicate with your guys. It helps me a lot because I'm genuinely interested in philosophy, like from the bottom of my heart. I'm interested in understanding things as they are. Truth heals me. I want to see the truth. I want to understand. Intellectual dishonesty. Like if you want to hurt me, be intellectually dishonest. You're gonna hurt me. If we're in a relationship and you're gonna be intellectually dishonest, you're gonna hurt me. Like I want you to be honest. It's not about you loving me, it's not about you treating me well, but it's about your honesty. Are you honest? Are you gonna be able to say, look, I do feel that I didn't treat you well or the way that I should have treated you in this situation. But the real reason is because, well, maybe sometimes I'm just selfish or sometimes this. But then that level of honesty is good. I appreciate honesty more than anything. That is why, like, if you watch my videos, you see that there are a lot of things that feel true, right? The things that I say to you, like, but that's just it might not sound, it might not make you feel good, but it's still true. And unless you're this person who's also intellectually honest, you're like, oh, this is beautiful because you appreciate truth. When I call myself Benedict the truth, it's not because I'm saying that I'm telling you the truth about everything that I don't know that's going on in the world. It's not even about that. It's about me being as intellectually honest as possible about what I'm seeing. So if something happens and I don't know much about it, I'll tell you what I think about it without an agenda. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, this is my honest truth about what I'm seeing. That's it. That's what it's about. That's what this channel is about. It's Benedictine the truth because I'm speaking I won't even say my truth, but I'm saying to y'all what I feel is the truth, is the highest truth, not just the truth. Like, I'm not trying to give you something limited, something that is not complete. I'm trying to give you the highest truth. Like, I'm trying to give you the highest truth that I've realized. That's what I'm giving you. But of course, not everyone is going to be intellectually honest. Of course, not everyone is going to care about the truth. It's human nature. There are very few people in this world that actually care about the truth. But yeah, man, a lot of people are not okay in this room. A lot of people are not okay, and it's difficult. It's really difficult, man. I do think of people who are in prison because they were trying to get what they want, and be like, sometimes it's life that's just not fair. We can say what we want to say about these people, but sometimes it's life that's not fair. If people tell you their stories, yes, I do understand that people are just messed up, but also we are also mean as a collective. Like, we never try to understand, we never try to help. Like, I've been telling you that we treat people as if they asked to be here. So even if people tell us the problems, like, we don't realize that we are interacting with one another by default, meaning that it matters how I respond to you. If a stranger in the street say hi, and you be like, it matters. It matters. You know what I'm saying? You are doing something to them. You are making them think that, oh, people are like this, and you are planting that seed of hatred in their heart. You might find that the person was a good person, but you're too mean because maybe you think you're better than everyone, right? So they greet you nicely, and I'm not saying you must respond if you don't want to respond, but I'm trying to show you that we are all connected in ways that we don't even realize. So it actually does matter how we treat one another if we want to make this world a better place. But I do understand that we are dealing with something that seems to be much bigger than us as a collective. Like, as an individual, I'm not sure if it's bigger than us. Like, as an individual, I do think you can truly conquer this, but as a collective, I don't think we can. That's why I've been telling you that I think enlightenment is a solo journey, right? For you to become enlightened, like, it has to be your journey. That is why the people in your life don't even understand you. You know what I'm saying? You talk to people about the things that you're realizing, they don't get you. It's because it's a solo journey. it's easy for people who have what they want to be generous. Sometimes we worship those who are generous. I mean, I do get it. Like, oh, they're giving me what I want, so I must worship them. But really, it's much easier for someone who have what they want to be generous, and very hard for a person who doesn't have what they want to be generous. Like, it's gonna be very hard for a person who doesn't have what they want to be generous. This reminds me of the movie The Book of Clarence. So Clarence was kind of like poor. What he really wanted was love. Like, there was this woman that he actually, like, he genuinely loved, but he couldn't get her because of how society perceived him. So what he did, it's actually a brilliant movie. I think you like it. If you've not watched The Book of Clarence, watch it. Um, People think that they were mocking Jesus, but that's not even what they were doing at all. Like, I watched it as a person who's not a Christian, but it kind of made me go like, "Hey, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so good. Like, it's the only movie that I've watched about Jesus that made me go like, I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. Right? It's so good. But people are just, I don't know. I don't know how Christians really think. Everyone on TikTok, every Christian on TikTok was saying, yeah, because the movie, I think Jay-Z was also involved in some ways. Like, yo, Jay-Z is part of the Illuminati. So, but then it was a brilliant movie. So it's about this guy. His name is Clarence. So he lived during the time of Jesus, right? So he saw Jesus performing miracles, and he felt like the miracles that Jesus was performing were not real. He just thought people were just dumb, right? So he was like, you know what? Because he wanted a girl that he couldn't get because the whole world felt like he was not worthy. Like, he was, he didn't qualify to have that girl. So it's like, you know what? Oh, what if I performed fake miracles like Jesus, because he believed that Jesus was performing fake miracles? What if I perform fake miracles like Jesus so that I will have money? He also borrowed uh, money from that that girl's brother that he wanted, and the girl's brother was like kind of like he was kind of like a gangster, really. So he had to pay him back. So he's like, I can pay him back, and so that I can get the woman that I want. So he started performing these fake miracles, and people started believing that he was the Messiah. But at the time they were arresting all the messiahs basically. They felt like everyone who calls themselves the Messiah is actually fake. But I like, before they arrested him, I like what he did. Because after making a lot of money, he actually went to this guy who had slaves, and he paid him a lot of money and said, you have to free all these slaves. He reached a point where he felt like, it got to a point where he kind of like felt good, because he's like, okay, I have all of this. It was before he got the girl, but it kind of like felt good because he had what he wanted. What he wanted was money, even though he didn't get the girl. So he's like, let me do something good. But he ended up getting arrested and ended up getting crucified with Jesus. But they ended up realizing that Jesus was not faking his miracles. His miracles were real. Jesus ended up waking him up, right? Like, he ended up bringing him back to life after he died. So it showed me that Christians are sometimes they're just short-sighted. They, like, that was really a brilliant movie, but it shows you how when people are okay, satisfied, and are feeling loved, they want to be generous. They want to even make sacrifices, you know especially people with good intentions. Sometimes this world harm people with good intentions, so they end up looking evil, not really because they were evil, but because of how the world treated them. So one of the biggest problems is that we are not satisfied. We are still unfulfilled, and we are not the ones to blame. I know there are people who blame you for not feeling satisfied, for not, feeling like you've got enough. Sometimes people will say appreciate what you have, but people do appreciate what they have. It just gets to a point where they're so used to what they have that it even feels like they don't even appreciate it, right? If you want to know that people appreciate what they have, take it away from them. You see that they actually do appreciate what they have. The problem is they've been having what they have for too long without getting anything new. Do you get what I'm saying? I remember I watched a video on TikTok today. So this guy was saying, I hope it's aliens. He was referring to the three-eye atlas thing that we're told is coming to our solar system. It's actually, I think it's already in our solar system. Uh, it was like, I hope it's aliens. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of the same thing every single day. We need something new. Like, we can't keep on experiencing the same BS every day. I don't care if it's aliens, bro. I don't care what they're bringing. I want something new. I'm tired of the same thing every day. Like, it gets boring. So it was like, am I the only one who feels this way? Am I the only one who actually hope that it's actually aliens? Because I'm tired of this. We've been through so much that we just can't wait for them aliens, bro. We want something new. Like, we want something big to happen. Something very unusual. I think that's what will change humanity. Like, maybe if there's a chance that we can change and become better as humans, it's something big like that should happen. Maybe that will change a lot. Thank you guys for watching this video until the end. Like the video, share the video, tell me what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Trust me, it helps a lot. It's beautiful when more and more people get to discover these videos, and yeah, a lot of people get to see life from this perspective, right? Because we are programmed to see life the same way. So it's beautiful. So the more you support, the more people get to see life from this kind of perspective. It really does help. So thank you all guys for supporting this channel. Yeah, let's keep on growing. Thank you.